Hi friends and family, Maggie here again working on another sewing project. I'm working on the sundress for Simplicity 9746. Right now I'm at step 1, which is gathering the upper edge of the bodice front between the notches. So I need to sew my basting lines. I have my piece of fabric right here, my cut piece piece number 1. I did serge these seam allowances here, not the top edge because that is going to be gathered. So we will start with that. Now what I need to do is I got to set my stitch length. And the directions say, I actually marked my notches instead of cutting them, so I'm going to start here, and I got to set my stitch length to a basting stitch, increase that. Okay, do my first row and then do another row right inside of that. I'll be doing this on both on the front and the back piece. Piece 1 and piece 2. I have a little mark right here on my sewing machine, which shows me the 5/8 of an inch. And there's my little notch mark. Okay. I'll pull my thread tail and do the second pass here. And I just look at my presser foot, and I put this sewing line, well actually let's see, I want to put it about 1/8 of an inch from the other sewing line. So if I do this stitching line right here, that will accomplish that. So okay. Second row, basting row. To that notch. Okay, and I'm going to be doing the back piece the same way. Okay, so we're up to step 3. I'm going to pin the bodice front to the bodice back, and then we'll be sewing them. So here they are. Here's the bodice front and the bodice back. And I did write on the front so I could tell them apart. Put the word front there because they're similar. So I'll be putting my pins in here. Here's the notch. And I marked with the pin. Okay, and I'll be sewing these seams at 5/8 of an inch. I can use my little knot maker on this at the end and back stitch a little bit. There we go. Go. Okay, that's one seam done. Okay, let me pressing that open. We got to do the other one. Hi everyone, Maggie here. I decided that I'm going to make my own bias tape for the sleeve, I guess sleeve facings for this dress. So I wanted to show you this little kit that I got. I actually got it on Amazon, and I haven't tried it yet because I'm going to be making bias tape for another project that I'm working on. So I think it'll give me a chance to use this. After researching it a little bit, I think the size that I want is this one right here, which is 18 millimeters. So I'm working on getting my bias strip, and then I'll be ironing it. So I have a square and then I have it folded. This is like a square, perfect square, because I actually ripped it. It's 26 by 26, and that way I'll get like long enough strips, and I won't have to piece them at all for the dress. So what you do is you multiply by 2 the width here, and according to the directions, it says for the red one you need about between 35 and 40 millimeters, which is just about 1.5 inches. So I'm gonna use my ruler, and I'm gonna draw a line here. I have this folded in half, and then I can cut it. Let me make sure it's perfectly in half. And I'm going to use my heat erasable pen. I'm going to measure like 1.5 inches because that's between 35 and 45 millimeters. And then we're going to try this gadget out. So, and then I'm going to cut on the fold. I have that fold line. That's going to be my other line. So we'll do this. Okay, and I'll be right back. Okay, up to step 4, which is applying bias tape to the arm openings and understitching. Okie dokie. I have my 2 strips, which are they're actually probably 5 or 10 inches longer than what I need. So I guess what you do is you feed the fabric in like so, and it has this little awl with it, See if I can get it going. There. Oh, that's cool. Okay. And we're just going to start pressing it. Now, I do have it folded over good. Okay. I did it kind of do it on the wide end as far as the piece of fabric, the bias, because it's going to be used for the sleeves. I don't think it'll look nicer than like purchased bias tape because it's out of the same fabric. Oh, that's pretty fancy. Yeah, that's pretty fancy. I think that will look nice. Yeah, it's really pretty simple. I think I'll be doing this more. There's a jacket that I'm working on, and it's not lined. It's out of a heavy linen, and I'm gonna use bias tape around. So, yeah, success. Okay. So, yeah, and it also comes with a little sewing machine foot that I have to try for attaching bias tape, I guess. That should be interesting. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. Just something I found on Amazon. They have like a lot of these and, you know, different kits and stuff. If I can find my purchase history, I'll put a snippet of it in there. So, yeah. I just haven't had a chance to use it yet. I actually got it for my jacket, to make the bias tape for my jacket. So, well, we'll do the other one. Hi, everyone. I am up to step 4, which is attaching the bias tape to the armhole. And I made my own bias tape out of the self fabric bias tape. I'm inserting a little clip about that, or you probably already saw the clip. So in the instructions it says to pin the bias tape 3/8 of an inch from the raw edge. I actually think I am going to trim my raw edge first, just to make it easier, but I'm gonna kind of like do a little stay stitching around the armhole first. That'll help with the placement. So that's what I'm gonna do next, and how I'm gonna attack this problem. So I have my front and back pieces, and I have my seams pressed open. So what I thought I would do is I'm just going to sew around at 5/8 of an inch, and it'll just serve as like a little stay stitching line. And then what I can do is it's going to be just inside 5/8 of an inch, because when I do the actual application, that's going to be right on 5/8 of an inch. So I'm going to just kind of do it inside there. And then I can trim trim close to that edge, and it'll help with the placement of the tape, binding tape that I made, bias tape. So we'll do this, and then I can trim it to like about 1/4 of an inch. I think that might make the insertion a little easier. Okay, so I'm going to just trim this down here, this allowance down a little bit before I pin the bias tape. Just using my nippers. Trim it down. So it'd be like that to make it easier to attach the bias. Okay, so I am just pinning this self-made bias tape around the armhole edge here. The fold is about it's about 1/4 of an inch. It's a good 1/4 of an inch, and I have my little sewing line here, which is like stay stitching. So I'll just be pinning this around. And then it's going to fold over. I'll be clipping the edges. If needed, I can trim, but I think it's trimmed enough. And I'll be clipping it, and then this wraps around. So that will be the armhole facing this bias tape, self-made bias band. Alright, here we go. I have that little pressed line that I can use as a guide. So, got my needle down so I can take my pin out. Back stitch a little bit. Then also I got the edge of my presser foot that serves as another guide. Brings it just about to the right place there. You can take your pins out as you go if you want. I have these, I'm going to go over these 2 pins because I got the seam there and I want to make sure that I get those open. Make sure everything's flat. Getting bunching. You're going around the curve here, so you want it to be neat. I'm going to go right up to that pin because this is really kind of curvy here. Okay. Lots of loose threads here. Let's see if I can trim those a little bit. Okay. Let's see how that turned out. Looks good so far. Okay. Just checking. Okay, looks like I did it without getting any puckers. Is that a pucker? Nope. Maybe a slight pucker, but I think that's not going to show up with any once it's pressed. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Okay, so I am going to trim this a little bit, and then I'm going to be doing some clipping. So I'm going to trim it right up to the, I think right up to that stay stitching line, which the stay stitching line was really close to like a ½ inch. So that way it'll reduce some of the bulk, and I might have to do a little bit of clipping. So I do like these nippers because they're good and sharp, but I think I need to get some detail scissors. I do a little embroidery with this machine too. I might do like an embroidery project. I have a ready-made top that I want to do a embroidery motif on. And I want to try that. Okay, so that looks good. Let me see how it's going to wrap. Might need to do a little bit of clipping. Actually looks pretty good. So it's going to wrap like this. And I could do some understitching here, but I think I'm just gonna I don't think I'm gonna understitch it because I think I just want one line of stitching, maybe. So, and it since I trimmed it, maybe just a few clips is all I really need. So, and it's supposed to stretch, so this outside edge should stretch pretty well. So I'll just do like a few where it's really curvy here. I'll do a few little clips here. Not into the sewing line, just like 1/8 of an inch in here. I'm doing them about every 1/2 inch at the most. Let's see. This is where it needs to curve. Okay, we'll try a different angle here. I don't know if it'll be any better, but it gives me a little more space to work. So what I think I'm going to do is, I actually do think I'm going to do the understitching. So I press this seam allowance towards the bias facing. So I think after all, I think I will do the understitching. It might make it a little less stretchy, but I think that should be all right. And let's see if I can do this neatly. A little more. See that little red, mark in the middle there? I can kind of use that as a guide. That's where my needle is, and then I can just kind of watch. I want that red. It's easier to see that red line or that red mark than the needle, so I just watch how close that is to the edge there. I have it pressed, so that makes it a little bit easier, and I'm just kind of pulling apart as I go around, because you want it to be neat. You want it to look neat. So it's better just to take your time and do it neatly. You have a more professional professional looking product. Okay, so yeah, that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. So this is going to be folded under. I'm going to fold it under here and pin it, and then I'll be stitching it. So I'll be putting my pins in. I'll probably press it, give it a press before I actually start stitching it again. So, hi everyone. I decided to kind of repress this because it was looking too wide to me. So I actually went back and folded the bias over, just the raw edge to the seam allowance, or actually to the seam line there. I did a little more clipping too underneath because I want it to lie flat, and so that way it's not too wide. It was turning out too wide, so that's about 1/2 inch there. So I'm pretty happy with that. So after doing that, I think it's gonna go in there better. So yeah, so I am pinning this in place, and then I will be sewing it, and we'll see how it turns out. Because where I'm worried is, on this side. So let's give it a go. Okay. I'll probably just leave my pins in. Oh, that seems to be working okay. I'm not sure if I recommend leaving your pins in, but they're actually kind of like folded in there, so they're not like causing any trouble. So you just have to go slow over them. This is where I'm worried here, is I have to kind of stretch it here, and I like the quality of my stitches from, you know, the bobbin is not quite as neat. So there we go. Okay. Because here you have to kind of stretch a little bit to make sure that you don't get any puckers or anything. And I can keep it right at 1/2 inch. So yeah, I think that's probably the best way to do it. That was the way I did it this time. Okay. So that way at least I know on the outside here, it's exactly 1/2 inch all the way around. So, and it looks pretty good. Once I iron that, it'll look nice. So I'll take my pins out. Oh, it actually lined up pretty good. Huh. So step 5 is the top stitching, which I did. It says turn inside baste. I didn't baste it, but anyway, probably should have. It would have probably turned out better. And then top stitch. So that is how it looks right now. And I did iron it a little bit, so I'm pretty happy with it. So now what I'm doing is I'm working on those top edge. So since I think I will be doing view A, it's going to just be like a little one shoulder dress. I've got to interface 2 of the pieces, and so step 6 is applying the interfacing, and step 7 is I will be pinning the uninterfaced front band to one interfaced back band and matching the notches and stitching them together. Okay, so that's what it looks like in step 8, stitching those together. Yeah, so that's where we're at. So I have my front facing the interfaced one, and the back. I marked the front with, they're just slightly different. I marked the front with an F and the back with a B. It's upside down B. And I marked my notches and my dots again. And so I'm going to sew these together. And this interfaced side gets attached to the front of the dress. The uninterfaced side is you know, along the back, and you slip stitch it. So just doing this 5/8 of an inch. I didn't do any serging on these pieces because they're going to be enclosed, so they don't really need to be serged. So 5/8 of an inch. Back it up a little bit. Uninterfaced. Okay, and this is gonna get this this edge here is going to get pressed under. Hi everyone, Maggie here. I am up to step 9 right now, which is pinning the facing to the bodice. Stitch here. I'm just going to sew in between these two basting lines here. I've got my little red marker just going right in between. Just make sure everything's flat. Go slow over the pins. Okay, so we're up to step 12. Doing these little tie ends here. And I just have this started. I'm at my corner. Since since I pre-pressed these, I really didn't have to pin them, which is nice. So I think I will just trim this down. Whoops. Trim my corner here for sure.
All we had to do was simply move the number 5 train first.
Trim this down to about 1/4 of an inch.
Followed by 8, 7, 9, 6. Then 6, 7, 9, 8.
Then I just have to turn it inside out.
7, 5, 6.
I'm just turning this inside out with I put a big safety pin at the end. They have gadgets that you can use. I currently don't think I have one. I did find my point turner. I found it easier just to use a safety pin, a big old safety pin. And just feed it through. Yeah. I'm just dropping the pin out of here. There. Okay. So I am sewing this tie end here, actually basting it in before I attach the front piece to the facing. And I have it pinned because I want it to line up nicely at that section. So this was actually trimmed down already, so I'm going to be sewing it right here. It needs to like line up right there. I'm trying to get it right along that seam line there. Right over my pin, which is not the greatest. Back. Okay. Let me see how that looks. Okay, I think that's going to be good. Okay, and then the facing goes over that. So I will be pinning the facing piece over that. Here's my facing. This step right here, which is what? Step 15, right here. Step 15. Oh. Okay. So I have that in there. This edge is going to be turned under and hand sewn. So let's put my pins in, and I want it to line up right at the edge there. So this actually, I should turn this up, like so. It's going to be through a lot of layers. And here's where the other edge is. Yep, I'm going to do some more pinning before I sew it. I'm going to see if I can do a neat corner here, and then I'm going to do the rest. So this should be at 5/8 of an inch right there. There's my 5/8 of an inch. Okay. Just going to work on getting this corner. Now this is where the edge of the tie is, right here. I want everything to line up nicely. Okay. Let's see. I have that pin there to hold that non-negotiable point together, and then I'll do a couple of back stitches. Okay. Alright, let's see if that turned out alright, and I can do the rest of it. Let's see. Okay, that junction looks pretty good. It needs like needs some trimming. I'm just doing a little trimming here. Near that corner. Now let's see. That's better. Okay. Pull this out a little bit. Okay, I think that's pretty neat. Doesn't have to be perfect, but I need to take a little bit more bulk out of here. Okay, so this is, I think it's pretty good. It needs to be fairly seamless, and it's going to go like that. And I'm just using this corner. I want to poke that out a little bit. Have this end of my seam ripper is like a point turner here. So there. And I have like 2 rows of stitching on this to hold this tie in place, so that's good. Okay, so I'm going to finish applying the facing around the, I'll do the other tie end and then finish doing the facing, but I just wanted to get this portion done. These corners are a little challenging, so I'm doing them first, and then, you know, where you attach the tie, and then we'll be sewing the rest of it. Okay, so this is the the facing side uninterfaced. This is the tie that I have stitched in once, and then I'm going to go over again, and then I'm just folding up this allowance here. That's going to be slip stitched. This is the very edge of the tie there, so I've got to do my turn around that spot right there. And I did already trim this seam a little bit, so it's a little less than 5/8 of an inch. So let's see if I can get this. So just get my needle in first. Okay. Gonna do a little back tack. hit my corner right here at that pin. Take that pin out. Turn, make sure I have this out of the way. Okay, so this is 5/8 of an inch right here. Okay. The other part I had trimmed a little bit, so I'm just applying the facing here. I'm going to stop and do some pinning, but okay. I'm just trimming, doing some trimming here. Down to about 1/4 of an inch. A little bit more edge. Just want to see how this junction is. So, yeah, no, that's pretty good. That's good. Not bad. Need to trim a little bit. I have a little bit too bulk right here. I can trim. I can feel it here because it's interfaced there. So, but overall, it looks pretty good. Okay, I'm just finishing sewing my facing on here. This is the back actually, because I've got the pink, the dark pink pin on the back. So this is, I'm just picking up where I left off. I, did my corners first, and this is 5/8 of an inch. I'm just doing my 5/8 of an inch using the guide here. And I have it all pinned. I have what's it called, the ties out of the way to make sure everything is flat. So this is going in much better. Got to make sure my seams are open. I've made that mistake before. Just kind of hold them open, and I have a pin. Sure everything's nice and flat. Up to my end point here. Okay, so this is how the application looks. This is the front. Okay, this gets folded under and slip stitched. Now I think I might do some understitching here. I'll have to trim this and maybe do some understitching for this to fold under, or the other option is that I could do some top stitching after I could try top stitching this part down, but that might be a little too, well, maybe not. Maybe I'll try that. I don't know. So looks looks like it turned out pretty good. Here's the other side. Okay, so I just got to make a decision about whether I'm going to understitch or top stitch. Okay. Hi everyone, Maggie here. I'm back again. Still working on my dress here. I am up to step 17 here. So for this step, step 17, it is the top stitching step. So I have this is the front of my dress, and I'm just pressing it good, also I did baste. I basted it on both sides here, and I think I'll be doing a edge stitch that's just inside a 1/4 of an inch, I think. And I'm going to be trying a special foot on my sewing machine to do this that I've never tried before. So yeah, we'll see how that works. Okay, so I'm going to be doing the edge stitching. I'm starting in the middle of the back of the dress. Whoops, I just got my needle down. And this regular foot is going to be the best. So I just kind of have it lined up. I have it basted, and hopefully everything will catch. And I'm just going to go slow. Here's my thread tail that's getting caught. Let's see if I can fix that. So I can see this little red mark there, and I kind of use that. That's the needle position. And there's like a small opening in the foot, and I can just kind of line that up with the edge. And then I have basting also. So I'm not like right on the edge. I have it like a little bit away from the edge, just because I think I can do it the neatest that way. So so that is the next step, and hopefully it will pan out to have done a lot of basting on this and pressing in advance. This is where it's important to catch the bottom layer, so that is why I basted it first. So was going to be like a simple summer dress. And it's turning into be a little bit more than that. I'm on the front side here now at this point. This edge is a little more difficult because it's, you know, got all the gathering and into it, and I have to catch that edge underneath that I have basted. If this catches it appropriately, I won't have to, there's my basting right there. I won't have to, you know, I didn't do the slip stitching. So Now here, I'm really actually a little bit nervous because there's a lot of thickness here. Okay, I actually had to change my needle because it was so thick there. I ended up putting a size 90 needle for this, and I had to kind of do that corner by hand. So, and go really slow. So we're going back in the other direction. I got threads here. Oops. There we go. I got a little bit of pulling out to do. Hopefully the other corner will go a little easier. But so far I think I like how it's turning out. Yep. Okay. I don't know if we're going to stick with this size needle for the rest of the project, or I think I had a size 80 needle in here. And when you're going through like thick layers like this, you know, where it's got like the interfacing and all that, it has to go through, plus multiple layers. Here's another junction that the bigger needle works better. So I'm kind of showing you all the bobbles along the way to a sewing project. I think I probably will go back to the size 80 needle for the rest of the dress, because we'll see. I'll see how it does with the big needle. There's my basting line here. Okay. Alright, here's going to be a tough point again, which this corner is not too bad, but once you get up there, it's really tough. So, okay, I'll probably be doing that by hand. And I do need one of those jump things, which I don't have. Okay, it's pretty good. Gonna give it a little pull. Okay. Alright, I think we're okay. And here's my starting point right here. There we go. Okay. So this is how it turned out. It's not too bad. I had to change the needle in the middle. And right now I'm just trying to get all of these basting stitches out. I used the same color thread for the basting. Whoops, that one's kind of stuck. But yeah, no, I think I'm pretty happy with it. I still have some gathering lines here that I also have to take out. Hi everyone, I am working on the pocket step. I have them pinned to my skirt, so they actually have you do the skirt piece, pockets and everything, and then attach the gathered ruffle edge or whatever before you attach it to the bodice. So I'm working on step 19, 20, 21, 22. And then after that we'll be attaching the gathered ruffled edge. So I have my pockets pinned on here. I have my dot, so that is the next step. So the dress is coming along. Side at 3/8 of an inch seam allowance, and then they'll be stitched on at 5/8. But here's my 3/8 of an inch line right there. Sewing machine. So they get sewn all the way on there. All 4 pockets. Okie dokie, I'm just pinning my 2 skirt pieces together here. I've got my dot here, and I got my pin. I'm going to line the 2 dots up here. My stitching line is going to go to that spot. Okay, there. Alright, and this is going to be 5/8 of an inch in. Okay. Alright, I'm just pinning my pockets together. Pinned it on the wrong side. Okay. It's easier to sew from this direction. Okay, so I'm sewing this top of the pocket at 5/8 of an inch here to the dot. I take that pin out. And then I'm going to just do a little back tack there because there's going to be some tension there. So this is the top of the pocket. Okay, doing that on both sides. Pinned. Have my 2 pieces pinned together. Okay. I'm going to have to stop pretty soon to rewind my bobbin. I'm having to guess a little bit here because I can't see my line, but I have my dot here, and I can see the seam line. Back stitch a little bit there. Okay. Alright. Okay. So I'm going to now, let me just check this. See how it looks. I'm going to be sewing around, doing the side seams. Okay, that looks good. I'm going to be doing my side seams. Okay, starting here, the top of the pocket. for the skirt. We'll do this side first, and this is at 5/8 of an inch. So you can see that right there. Back tack a little bit. Going slow over the pins. I want to keep everything lined up good. Oh. Okay. One of the negatives is you do cause wear and tear to your pins. I mean your needle. Sewing machine needle. Okay, so I'm going up to this spot right here. I have a dot right there. And I have to do a turn. Make sure everything is flat. So that's kind of a juncture there. One more stitch. Take my needle out. My pin out. Turn. Okay. I went up a little higher than the dot, but I want to be like right at 5/8 of an inch. So, okay. And I have to do the same thing for the other side. So I'm just pressing this pocket towards the front here. And then it's going to be basted towards the front on both sides. I'm pressing this seam allowance open. I had to like clip it a little bit. Okay. I have my tailor's ham here. I'm finding that I can get the smoothest pressing job using my tailor's ham just to make the pocket look nice. And that worked on the other side too. So using my tailor's ham, I was able to get it nice and smooth. Here's the pocket here. Okay, so my pockets are basted towards the skirt front. So now I can work on attaching the ruffle to the bottom. Okay, I'm up to step 23, which is stitching these sections together, piece 8. There are 3 of them. They're the ruffle. It's actually the only ruffle on this dress because I'm making the short version, and then I'll be stitching my gathering lines for that. I have my 3 sections all pinned together, and it's going to be at 5/8 of an inch. Got my pins here. Probably should have back tack there. That would have made it easier, but back tack a little bit. That's one. And then I'm going to be pressing these open. And I actually think I'm going to go ahead and serge the bottom edge because I'm going to be doing a rolled hem. And so I think I will just go ahead and serge that bottom edge just to make it easier. I won't have to be working with the whole dress when I'm going to press it open first, press the seams open, and then I'll serge the bottom edge. It's easier to work with this small piece rather than the whole dress to do that. Okay, one more seam. Okay. My serger tends to make a lot of noise, so I have to do it before it gets too late. I'm just stitching my gathering lines for the skirt ruffle. I'm going to do 2 gathering lines. One just inside 5/8 of an inch and the other one a little bit inside of that. It's always easier to pull the bobbin thread, but I'm stitching on this side so I can make sure that my seam allowances are open. And I'll be pulling up on the bobbin thread. I think I'm just going to go all the way around. And the skirt is marked, notched where the seam allowances go. So I actually have these snips here, but I'm not sure why. I was just looking at the pattern piece and it didn't have I think since this is the shorter one, it did have some marks. It's a shorter ruffle. I'm trying a really big, I just ran out of thread. Yep, just ran out of bobbin thread. Okay. Well, this is actually a teachable moment with my sewing machine, I think, in terms of how to do the bobbin. So, actually, I go in here around this little gidget gadget and around the back with my thread. Okay, around here, and I go through this little gidget gadget and wrap it around my bobbin. I have like a little bit of white thread on there. And just cut that. I just want to kind of get it started there. Okay. I mean, this is the way I do it actually. Okay, and then I push the bobbin into bobbin winding. And I usually put a little bit of tension on it myself. Oh, I did it backwards. That's usually the way I do it because I like to figure out my own tension on my bobbin, and then the machine is supposed to do it itself. Whoops. Oh, I'm stuck here. I'm actually running out of thread too. Yikes. What happened here? Okay, so I have my skirt ruffle all pinned on. So that it's pinned onto the front of my skirt. There's two dots at the front where the seam allowances go for the ruffle. Here's that one, and then here's the other one, and then it meets in the back, right in the middle. So the next thing I will be doing is sewing it on. Yeah. Just sewing my skirt panel on here. Skirt ruffle. Lots of pins here. actually running out of my thread, but after this point I'm running out of my gold thread. I could switch to off-white for the rest of the dress. It's not going to really show the rest of the seams. So this is just kind of tedious finishing work. So I'm working on this part where I'll be attaching the bodice of the dress to the top, to the skirt rather, and they have you put like you do a 3/4 inch seam, you press the seam up, and then you make a casing, elastic casing. So I am thinking the way that I want to do this, because I don't want a raw edge here, I'm going to do like sort of like a French seam here instead. So I'll be putting my right sides together and doing a little French seam and folding it up, and then I won't have any raw edges there for the casing, because these are my pieces here. This is my top, and here's the skirt. Yeah, I know definitely I'll need the elastic in there for my daughter, so that's my plan. Okay, so I'm using took my free arm away, and I have my dress here, and I have the bodice inside. I got the right sides together, and I'm gonna try something a little different, so I won't have a raw edge on the inside. I'm gonna do like a French seam here, but it's gonna be a real wide one on the inside anyway. So I'm gonna try to get this as close as I can to the edge. I have to catch a lot of layers, especially around the pocket here. That's the other thing. I wasn't sure about doing the pockets because it's it's a lot of layers that have to kind of be folded up now, and I have my seams matching here. Try to have good sewing etiquette here. I'm going to leave that pin in, but I just actually Okay, so I have this folded back and pinned, and I'm gonna enclose the seam and make my casing at the same time. I'm doing this at about 5/8 of an inch here, and I'm going to use a 1/2 inch elastic in the waist. So I'm not sure if I'm going to attach it or not. I'm going to see how it looks on the front, and I might just do it as one seam with the elastic. We'll see. So I'm going to be leaving a little opening. Actually, I'm going to start, that's the front. I'm going to start here, and I'm going to leave a little opening there to feed the elastic through. And it's going to be 1/2 inch elastic. I'm just making sure everything's nice and flat. I've got a size 90 needle. Yeah, size 90 needle in there. This pocket is like a lot of layers here. Saw a little bit poking out there. Top of the pocket. Okay. The machine doesn't like the thickness. Go slow. Okay, so I'm going to leave it open here because I'll have room to feed my elastic in. Let's see how it turned out. So this is how it looks on the right side. I haven't pressed it or anything. So I'm just going to have one stitching line here. And then I'm going to just feed the elastic. This is like the casing that I made. Kind of using a French seam. So I'm going to be putting 1/2" elastic through this. To my daughter's waist size. And yeah. And so that will be it. I think that looks pretty good. Okay. Okay. So I am just feeding the elastic through here. I have a little opening here where I can do that. I've got my thread tails. I'm actually just using a bobby pin. Just using a bobby pin because I can't find a safety pin, so that should work fine. Okay. Let's get it started. And I just have 30-inch elastic because her waist is, I think it's like 27. So overlap it a little bit. I'm going to pin this end so I don't accidentally lose my pin it here. Don't accidentally lose it in there. Yeah. So this is basically the last step that I have other than like closing that hole up. And I'll try to get a picture of it. And I just wanted to show you how it looks inside out. So this is the waistband, how the waistband turned out. So I did like a little French seam here and then did a seam and just ran my elastic there. And then here are my pockets. All the seams are finished so that everything's going to hold up well in the wash. I did serge the edge of the ruffle here, and the hem is a rolled hem. So yeah, so I think it's a good sturdy dress, and I don't mind that it is a little wrinkled. She can wear it wrinkled, and it should wash well and be very comfortable. Hi guys, I finally finished my little dress here, and here it is. The elastic is there just to hold it on the hanger. So let me just show you some of the details. It has a little bow here up there that I like. Then it has the edge stitched neckline, self-faced armholes, and for the waistline I did like an encased elastic. I did a French seam and then just added it on the inside, and I like that effect. And then it has the ruffle on the bottom. The hem is a rolled hem. Yeah, so I think hopefully I'll get a couple of pictures of my daughter wearing it. I like that it's you know, 100% cotton, and that it's even a little wrinkly. So I think she will enjoy it, and I think it's going to hold up nicely in the wash. You know, it's pretty sturdy, so pretty sturdy dress. Okay, and hope you enjoyed the video. Okay.
Okay. Put a couple more things and then I'll get your show ready.